Good evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bringing you information about your library and your community. And this evening my guest is Alice Jackson from the library, and we're going to tell you about all the great programs we have coming up in January. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Tricia. How are you?
Fine.
Good.
We got a little breather here. Got things in place for January in the middle of December holiday stuff, and we're moving on. And here we go, off into 2013.
I can't believe it.
I know. But we have a little tail end of one program we started last month in December, Teen Winter Reading.
Yes.
And we've got a few days left. Do you want
Yes.
to tell us about what's going on?
We started December 6th, and it runs through January 6th. So, like you said, there are a few days left here to get your to get your information in. And basically, what it is, it's open to 6th to 12th graders, and you can enter up to 4 times, so you have up to 4 chances to win something. Each location will draw for a prize, and then we'll have a grand prize as well with everybody's entries going into the grand prize drawing.
And the grand prize is pretty exciting.
Kindle Fire.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Can I lie about my age and enter?
No.
Darn.
Nice try.
Okay,
Nice
yeah.
try. No, but we thought we would try something different. You know, try to pull more teens in, get them over the Christmas break from school, see what they. And we've got a lot of teens reading, so it's just a matter of filling out a little piece of paper, throwing it in.
Yeah. Get it on the
Easy.
website, pick it up at any information desk, and
Yeah.
be simple and just a fun thing to do. And a lot of
Exactly.
kids did read over Christmas break or still reading.
Yeah.
But might not be back in school yet. So yeah.
So
good thing to
definitely,
do.
a couple more days. Get those entries in, so we can have lots of names to choose from for that fire.
Yeah. And 2013 is going to be the first year that all our remodeled and brand new facilities are open for a full 12 months.
Yeah.
So that's given us the opportunity to put some things in place for the whole year. And this last fall, of course, we started Music in the Mackenzie.
Right,
We've
right.
had 4 episodes, but we've got a whole year of Music
whole
in
year.
the Mackenzie coming up. So
Yeah.
you want to tell us about that?
Well, January here, we're going to kick off with Switchback, which is a couple gentlemen that have been together for couple decades, I believe is what it is. And they do Celtic music.
Yeah, American soul or Celtic soul and American root.
A very, very interesting mix. Again, just to remind everybody, Music in the Mackenzie is at the North Branch, and it's on a Sunday afternoon. Generally, it's either the second or the last Sunday of the month, and it starts at 2:00. It's open to all ages, and really everyone that we had in the fall leading up to 2013, every group that we've had has been very family friendly. All ages definitely in attendance, from little ones up to grandmas and grandpas, So it's been really an interesting mix of people coming, an interesting mix of performers that we've had. So we've got Switchback coming January 20th it is. Okay. January 20th at 2:00 at North.
Yeah, it's not so often that there's a place you can go listen to a short musical concert for free and bring all ages and be comfortable, that kind of thing. It just, other than free concerts outside in a park or something in the summer, you just don't get this opportunity. So
and it's
you can make
funny,
it family fun.
Definitely. And go a little early, check out some books beforehand, a couple hours of music. You got a little time to maybe check out some books or check out the branch if you haven't been before. It's funny, all of the performers that we've had so far, they rave about the Mackenzie Room. The sound in there is just fabulous. It's almost like it was built for music. It's funny. So we've had a couple groups that they may have brought their sound equipment with them, but they come in and they say, oh, we don't need it. We don't need our microphones, or we don't need the speakers in here, because it just really... It really
nice
works
acoustics.
well.
Good. Okay.
So we've got, like I said, Switchback. Then we jump into the Waymores, Cliff Eberhardt. We're About 9, Amanda Shires, Catfish Keith, Trillium, Barlow and James, Bethany Bombara, Brooks Williams, Rachel Davis, and Jared Bartman to round out
all the way around the calendar
23rd.
there. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a great musical lineup. And of course, we'll be having things out that people can pick up that will tell them who's coming what month and on our website, because that's a lot to remember just hearing
definitely,
it now. Yeah, but how fun to have all these people.
Yeah, so keep your eyes open for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what other adult programs do we have coming?
Well, we've got something that's a little bit different. For the 20-somethings into 30-somethings that like to read, young adult novels.
Well, that's like Harry Potter, Twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which they're listed as YA or young adult.
They appeal to a variety of ages. So we've got a group that we're going to try to get going here in January. First meeting is January 15th at Lakeview in the evening. And it's a YA, young adult book club for adult readers. So, and I say your 20s and 30-somethings, but I mean, if you're older than that, we're not going to turn you away. But it's that age group that you don't want to hang out with maybe the high school kids and talk about these books. Yeah. But these are the books you read, so
you're not reading the stuff the biography and nonfiction book club reads.
Not quite. Yeah. But you still would like to get together with a group of people and talk about these books. You've got similar interests and things like that. So we're hoping to get that going here in January. We've had quite a bit of interest. We put out kind of a call for interest over the past couple months, and had lots of emails, couple calls about it. So we're hoping that this will be a good group to get started.
Good.
So we're going to start that in January, like I said, at Lakeview. We have a couple different film series that we're going to do. We have a Men in Black marathon because the most recent, the third film in that series came out here in December. So we're going to show all of them at the main library. The first week in January here started on the 2nd, and then the 3rd and the 4th, 1, 2, and 3. Those are open to all ages, of course, because the Men in Black goofiness and space and aliens and everything, it appeals to everybody. So we've got those going on. And then we also have a Before Broadway film series. So those movies that were stage plays as well as movies. So we've got a couple of those. That starts in January, continues February, March, and April. The first one in January is the 17th, Beauty and the Beast. So that's another one that's open to all ages, appeals to all ages. That'll be at the North Branch in the afternoon. Let me think. Oh, we have Sit and Stitch.
That should appeal to a lot of people.
We have quite a few people on staff that are into various crafting things, whether it's crochet or needlepoint or knitting, whatever it may be. So a couple of them got together and started talking and said, you work on some of these things at home. Sometimes you like to work with a group of people just to be able to chat, or maybe you don't have the time at home because you've got kids or whatever else going on, and you need to take those projects that you're working on somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we've blocked out a couple different times. The first one will be January 14th at North in the afternoon. So bring your projects that you're working on. Bring those in. Maybe you didn't have time over the holidays. Come in, bring those in, sit and talk with people that have, again, similar interest thing going on.
And sometimes that can, you might have what they call a UFO, an unfinished object, and that you've been letting sit, and you just need to get going on it again. And a lot of times, talking to somebody else or having them admire what you've been doing, or if you've got, the cat got in the ball of yarn and got it all tangled up, it could be much pleasanter to untangle your yarn while you talk about your cats with a group of people than sitting in frustration by yourself.
Exactly.
It's just a fun thing to do.
I think so, and I think this is something that I hope will continue. They're going to try it in January and see how it goes, and so I really do hope that a lot of people jump on this and come out and just spend some time.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
So that's in January. So those are some of the more adult things, or some of them are all ages, of course, that we have coming up in January.
Yeah. And then we do, of course, have a lot of all ages programming that's, kind of for kids, but people can enjoy it too. Things like story times.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about what we've got going on
We'll continue, just like we've always done, our story times for all different ages. We've got everything from the little ones, the 0 to 11 months type of thing, all the way up to the book clubs for middle school and even into teens. We've got some book clubs that we're...
Which that's newer. The book clubs for teens are newer, but there seems to be kind of a resurgence of, with the younger people, of reading and of discussing. And I'm not sure if that started with the Harry Potter books or what just book clubs in general, but somehow that's gotten to be the cool thing to do.
It really has.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the economy,
Maybe it is. Maybe
because it's totally free.
A lot of teens now have like the e-readers, the Kindles and things like that. So reading's a little more cool now.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what they're coming into the book clubs with their e-readers, which is fine. Doesn't matter
Any way
to us.
You can read it, that's the way you do it.
Yeah. So we've got
Maybe
a couple.
we should have a book club for Google Books for all the local people are doing local history and reading all those old books on their Kindle.
Maybe that might be.
People
maybe
often
I need to make a note of that.
People will often ask me, "Well, what do you do at a story time for a kid that's 0?" and that's always fun to explain. But maybe you're actually a librarian, so maybe you can give us the official version of why you bring a baby to a story time.
Reading to your child. I mean, I have 2 of my own. You have 3 of your own. You know that you talk to them in the womb. I mean, not to get all technical here, but I mean, you do. You keep talking to them, and they learn your voice, and that perpetuates the love of reading and the love of the language and things like that. So when you have the little babies, you bring them in, you go to the story time, and it's not necessarily sitting and reading a book to the child, but it's a lot of singing and interaction and finger plays and things like that. A little bit older, when they're crawling, walking, then they do add another little component in with some playtime, some toys, easy baby toys, things like that. But it just perpetuates that and continues that love of reading from an early age. And one of the people that I worked for at one time during the library said, you grab them then, and then you create that library lover, basically. And you keep
the library
coming
becomes
in.
the enchanted place to go.
Exactly. I mean, you've talked about it yourself, going when you were young to McClure Branch, and I mean, it just
I'm one of those people. I went to McClure Branch when I was little.
Yeah, exactly. But you remember that, and those are fond memories.
Yes, I absolutely remember, and I remember begging to go back because I would read all of my books too quickly. I was supposed to go once a week, and I'd want to go every day, and back then we had to take the bus, so we didn't go that often.
No, but I mean, that's it does sound funny to think you're taking your infant to a story time, but
and I think the other great thing is the moms get out and
it's sometimes
you have that sharing and make friends too. Exactly. I think a lot of people make friends when they do the whole.
And it's funny to see. You're right about that. You'll see, maybe this couple moms that are coming, they're buddies, but then here's another new mom that's coming, and they get to know each other, and it creates friendships and.
And it can be a support group too for parents who
little
time out and especially when you're cooped up in the bad weather with a bunch of little kids. It's a good idea.
So exactly. January we kick right off again with all of our different ages. Like I said, for the babies on up.
Yeah, so great. Okay, and what else do we have going on?
Well, we've got some different Make It Take It's, which is kind of a term that librarians use with craft projects. We've got some at Lakeview and Maine. Also, I think McClure and Lincoln are also jumping in with a couple of those. And North has kind of a standing one every month on a Saturday that they do. So it's a drop-in craft. You can either go in, do it there at the branch, or you can, sometimes they'll have them bagged up so you can take them with you if you don't have time to stay and do it. It's something simple that you can work on either way, at home or there at the branch. We try to do something like that either once a month or a couple times a month. January it'll be a winter type craft snowman, something along those lines, and then of course February they'll jump into the Valentine's thing. Do a thematic type craft.
Yeah, and things that there's books to go with. And
they always have books set out along with the theme, so that kids can check those out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
One thing that a couple of the librarians at North Branch have started is a family history club for kids. We always talk about genealogy, and we think of your parents and grandparents that are working on family history. Well, the one librarian out there, she's very interested in genealogy, and she was talking to her granddaughter about it. Her granddaughter, I want to find out more about my family. So she said, well, wait, maybe there's other kids that would be interested in this. So she's done a couple sessions, and now in 2013 she's going to start a monthly program, and there's 2 of them out there that are working on this monthly meeting. While they'll come in, they'll have some worksheets that they can do, use some of our databases, use some of the internet resources, things like that they can use, and do some basic family history with kids so that they can see.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
And there's such an explosion of that. Some of the TV shows, Who Do You Think You Are? And
yes.
that kind of thing started it. But when they've just all maybe been with relatives they don't see often over the holidays, and people tell stories about the old days,
exactly.
and looking at old pictures, and our globe gets smaller and smaller and smaller with all this electronic communication. So it's interesting
it's easier
to know.
And easier to find.
I mean, when I was growing up, and possibly you, pen pals were the big thing.
Yeah.
That was the way you learned about another country. You got a pen pal in another country, because maybe, very unlikely, you were learning a foreign language, but definitely they were learning English.
Yes.
But now kids can actually, with all the stuff we have going on, they might even find a distant cousin in another country they can Facebook with.
Exactly, exactly. And there's so many kids that are interested in that now. So it was funny to think about at first, but you know what? Let's try it. And
and it's been huge, and kids really like it, don't they?
The interest has been there. So she's going to do that monthly, like I said.
Fun.
So that's, we're pretty excited.
Is that the kind of thing where they can just come once and do it and leave, or is it ongoing that you should join and keep going?
The more you come, the more you would get out of it, of course. But if you can only come January and then you can't come again until March or April, that's fine. It's not like you have to come every month.
Because you're working on your own family. You're not,
and you can work at your own pace.
Yeah, you can't actually do a structured thing, because families are all so very, very different.
All over the place.
And somebody may be an immigrant who just got here and they have to look at records in another country, and somebody else may have been here. Come on the Mayflower.
Years. Yeah, exactly.
So, okay.
We've got a couple things aimed at teens heading off to college, starting in January. We're going to have a couple series both at Lakeview and Lincoln. Things we're helping you fill out the FAFSA.
I always say that one wrong, but if people aren't familiar with that term because you haven't recently had a child in college, that is financial
aid
for
funding and
student something anyway.
Yes,
But this form is based on the parents' tax form or the teens' tax form or both. And you can't do anything until you fill that out.
Yes.
And so we're doing this right at the beginning of the year because people say, "Oh, I don't want to mess with that. I won't qualify for a scholarship."
You never know.
You won't get a scholarship. Nobody will award the scholarship to you until you have filled that out, because they have to know that you've already done that and that you're not going to get a free ride because of your parents' income.
Right.
And so then after that, because they're being very conservative with their scholarship money, even if it's a talent scholarship, they're not going to give it to you unless you really don't have any other money.
Exactly. So get that in.
Yeah, you have to get it in, and the best way to start the year is get in, find out about that, get it filled out, and get it in there. Of course, that means you have to do your taxes as quickly as
possible. But it's true. I mean, get that filled out, get that in. You never know. I mean, you may think, oh, my parents make too much money, or I worked and I made too much money. You never know.
Yeah.
So there might be some free money there for you to go to school. So take
Absolutely.
advantage of that. So there's going to be a couple programs about that, about getting different types of aid scholarships, as well as the free money.
I think you have to do. I think you have to do that to get your loan too.
Exactly. And then there's also a couple at Lakeview, one about visiting colleges and what to look for, questions to ask, things like that. So something that you wouldn't think about at the library. To maybe you would pick up the books about that information that had that information in it, but actually having a program and having someone come and talk to the kids, I think that'll be a good thing to have that available.
Yeah. And then sometimes, they can get information and talk amongst themselves too after they leave, and
it's
go on a college visit together. If friends go to that kind of program to get a better idea of what they're doing.
And we all know how busy the high school counselors are. They don't always have time to sit down for a real in-depth conversation with the kids.
And they may send notices home to the parents, which the parents don't always get. And so this can be, this might be at a better time or an easier thing too, or just supplement what the high schools are doing.
Exactly. So, so those are a couple of things that I thought were kind of interesting that some of our librarians have put together. And Board Game Saturdays, that's something that we're continuing into the 2013 year. And it's something that it's a drop-in board game time. It's funny, with all of the electronic games that are out there, there's still a a huge group of people that what they want is board games, card games, that type of thing. They don't want to do the electronic, or maybe they do the electronic, but they still love their board games.
Still doing all the
so we've
Monopoly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all the oldies but goodies that everybody remembers. So we've kept that going. It's a drop-in crowd, like I said. Sometimes you've got 4 or 5 people. Sometimes you've got 10 or 12 people. You just never know. We provide a few games. A lot of people will bring in games, and a couple of their friends will come with them, and they'll play. And they'll it's open to everybody. If I bring a game in and you want to come in and play, come on in.
I think it's probably an opportunity to learn about some new games and things too.
Yeah, it is. So
learn to play.
Yeah.
Like there's that apples to apples game. I have no idea how to play, but everybody
else
talks
about
it. Talks about it, and everybody else knows how to do it. So maybe I should go and learn to play that one.
See, there you go. Yeah, that's so that's something that's kind of fun that we're keeping going. And then to kind of tag on to the music in the Mackenzie, we're going to start a series in January called Kids Rock at the PPL, and again, Mackenzie Room at North Branch, great sound and everything else. So we're going to try to do some kids music in that same room. This will be Saturdays. Right now we're looking at kind of every other month to see how that goes, see what the crowd looks like. We're going to kick it off in January though with Julie Kay. She's a local and a favorite, and she always draws a big crowd. So we're pretty excited about having her out at the North Branch to kick this series off. But that'll be a 1 o'clock show on January 26th at North Branch. So all the Julie Kay fans, make sure you write that in your calendar.
Write that down.
Get that down.
Well, and it's a nice opportunity for people who maybe can't come to story time during the week, because they're working or whatever. They can get to do fun stuff.
Yeah, a Saturday afternoon. Just an hour, come on in, hang out for a while. That's something that we're trying to have more of. Starting in January is more of maybe the evening programs for families and kids, or maybe a Saturday or Sunday program that, like you said, it's hard sometimes to get to those that are during the week. Especially if you've got younger kids and older kids, maybe you can bring them to the story time during the day, but then when the older kids get out of school, you running around doing stuff. So
can't do that.
Yeah, so we're going to try that Saturday series and see how that goes with Kids Rock. So we've got January with Julie Kay, and then we've got March booked with the Pint-Sized Polkas.
Oh boy,
yeah, polka music for little kids. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of bouncing around with that one.
Yeah, definitely. Be ready.
And that's one of the things. This isn't bring your kid and sit quietly in a chair. Get up and move.
Interact, definitely.
Dance and move, and so that'd be a lot of fun.
If anybody's ever been to one of Julie Kay's concerts, she's performed a couple times for us at the library, and she does other concerts around the area, and that's definitely something that she encourages. Is getting up and moving around with your kids, with grandkids, whatever. She does a lot of dancing around in the audience and everything else, and the kids follow along with her on a train or whatever it is. So. She's a lot of fun.
Oh,
so
neat.
We thought that would be a great one to kick it off.
Yeah, well, this will be fun to see, if people like that or not.
Yeah.
It's another good opportunity to get out in the snowy weather and burn off some of that energy.
Yes, when you can't get outside and play.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, what else have you got there?
Well, we always encourage everybody to come down to the main library and check out the art gallery if you haven't been. Lower level 1, and we have rotating displays. Or
some of them are about history, some of them are science, some of them are art.
Right. Throughout November, we had a veterans art show, which is all local veterans that displayed their artwork. Through December, we had holiday art, so to speak. Winter and things like that. So
celebrating all the different holidays we celebrate. Just celebrated this little past few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've got the year booked out for 2013, a variety of different things coming up. We've got Veterans Art Show again, which is always a great one, not till further in the year, of course. We've got, so we're going to work with St. Francis on a project they're calling Kick Butt.
Oh.
As in cigarette butts and no smoking and things like that. And so there'll be some artwork coming from St. Francis as well as coming from some local kids. We've got the Congressional Art Show again and the Rennick Art Show. We've got a couple photography displays and exhibits that we'll have through the summer.
That'll be nice.
We have a really huge display that is actually a 4-year program, I guess, if you want to call it series, I suppose is a better word, in September, and it's Caterpillar advertisements.
Oh, okay.
And we're working with former CAT exec that has just oodles. I mean, I can't even begin to describe how many pieces of artwork that he has that were just advertising pieces. And so we're going to work with him and the Historical Society and have these mounted and displayed this September 2013, and then the next 4 years, because he has so many pieces.
Wow. And you know, people have often said when we look back generations in the future at art, that some of the greatest art will be in advertisements.
Yes. Yeah, and this is a perfect example to see the changes over the years of what they put out. What
people did. And I think that's so true, because even now when we look back at some of the things that, you know, like Toulouse-Lautrec, his art was all advertisements, and that may have been the start of that. But that should be very interesting for something that's such a part of our community.
Exactly.
As well as looking at, you know, the type of advertising that went on, what's changed with the products. Yeah,
definitely.
Great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And if to go along with that, to make sure everybody checks out the Wheeler case, which is on lower level 2, just outside the auditorium and the computer lab, and we have, you know, changing displays in there every so often. And if anybody has a group or a club or even a personal collection that they would like to display in there, let us know. We can work on fitting you in throughout the year down there in the Wheeler case. It's all under lock and key. All, you know,
and security cameras, security guards, everything's safe.
So nothing to worry about there.
Yeah. So if they want to do that, they just can get a hold of you through the library.
Exactly.
Ask for the programming department. Well, Alice, we are out of time. Okay. So I know there's a lot. We probably had more. I know we didn't even get to talk about tax forms and AARP doing their free tax help, but all that stuff will be on our website.
Right,
so thanks for joining us. You won't want to miss any of these great programs. We talked about not only what's happening in January, but a lot of these things that we're establishing that go on through 2013. So music, book discussions, films, you name it, we've got it. It's all free, and it's all, you know, aimed at what you want to see. If you have ideas for other things you'd like to see, don't hesitate to tell a staff member or call us up and start a program on your own. We have plenty of meeting spaces and lots of groups, every variety that meet with us. See you next week on Information Please.